It's now been 18 months since the day I picked up a camera and started documenting these encounters. I have witnessed the loud disembodied voice of children. Could have swore I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Hello? A spirit humming a song so loud, your skin looks like the skin of a feathered plucked chicken. I've witnessed some spirits who left. What about Naomi? Naomi Mitchell. And found some spirits do not like strangers coming into the house, making claims they can help them. What? Very strange activity while doing investigations. Encounters of those who have recently died. Do you know my wife's name? Can you tell me where she works? How do you like your pizzas? John, who recently died, is that you? Spirits have learned to use the spirit box to communicate with the living. Hello? During this 18 months, I've encountered the spirits of Naomi, Rachel, Logan, Cass, Jenny, Edmund, Hattie, and many other named spirits. I now know ghosts are very real, but I also know encounters like this are very unusual. But how is this possible? I start searching for clues and hope to find the cause. The more I search, and the more I listen to them, the stronger the activity becomes. Like a frog in boiling water, the paranormal temperatures are slowly rising. You don't realize just how hot the water has become until one day you look back and remember the cooler temperatures. What I'm getting ready to encounter, the temperatures are going to rise. In these Ghost Chronicles series, you will eventually see how the water reaches the boiling point. When I was a teenager, my mother came to me and asked me, she says, Kent, when you were around 2 or 3 years old, you used to look at the toilet, just stare at it. You used to stick your head down by the tank, looking under it. She said I would spend hours over at the toilet
just staring at it, and as if I was looking for something. And I forgot about that. But when my mother asked me that, I remembered I was so curious about how the toilet worked. I was actually looking for an electrical cord coming from the toilet and a wall socket that the toilet plugged into. I couldn't figure out how that toilet worked because everything in the house had to be plugged in for it to function. But the toilet wasn't plugged into the wall. I didn't understand how that functioned. Eventually I gave up. I never did figure it out, but as I got older, of course, I find out, toilets don't plug in. But as a child, I had a lot of curiosity on how things worked. One time I grabbed my mother's electric alarm clock and I took it all apart, broke it all down, completely cut wires, and then I put it all back together again, and I plugged it into the wall, and it literally blew the breaker out. My mother comes running in the room. What did you do? Because it was a loud noise. It went and all of a sudden the power went out. She noticed the black burn marks on the electrical outlet, and I'm standing there in total shock that the alarm clock just about blew up. But it was my curiosity. I wanted to know how that alarm clock worked. And when I got older, I would take other things apart, like, record players. I wanted to see how they worked. When I became a teenager, I'd take lawnmower engines apart, put them back together again. My curiosity, I wanted to know how something functioned. A lot of that curiosity is with me today. When I encountered this paranormal activity, I wanted to know how this worked. I wanted to know how this functioned. What causes this? And how is this even possible? But what I found really unique about this house, every room in this house is different. I'm talking about the paranormal activity. This dining room I'm sitting in right now has different paranormal activity than my bedroom. I've had a lot of encounters with the voices of children in this room, and very clear EVPs have been captured in this room. I don't 100% like the upstairs of the garage because a lot of the encounters are negative. Spirits will say negative things. But when I do go up to the garage to do investigations, sometimes these investigations won't last long. I have to get out of the garage. It's mainly what I feel. You get a negative vibe in the garage, and it's not as bad as the basement, but it's bad enough where I don't like staying up in the garage for any length of time. Edmund Lamb died in 1945. Hattie, his wife, sold this house to the Colsons in 1947. After Hattie sold the house, she passed away. Something I find very remarkable. Some of Edmund's belongings has been stored in this garage for well over 100 years. When Miss Colson sold the house in 1997, the new owner found Edmund's cobbler tools in the upstairs of this garage. Edmund also did cobbler work. Many other items belonging to Edmund was also found in this garage. These items definitely date back to the late 1800s to early 1900s. The original windows to the house have been stored in the corner of this garage for many decades. In 2021, I cleaned up the garage and reorganized these belongings. Behind the original windows and other very old items, I found other items that belonged to Edmund. What I found confirms, no doubt, this house was Edmund's funeral parlor up until 1919. In the final chapter of these Ghost Chronicles series, I will talk about the house and show the items found. And also what we learned about this house will explain some of this unique paranormal activity. I'm going to use some of these items as a trigger object to see if I get any responses from spirits. Was this Edmund's original furniture? That chest right there is definitely from the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's my understanding he used a horse and carriage back in those days for funerals. Now this is where this got kind of interesting. Was that used on Edmund's horse to pull the little wagon hearse that had the bodies on the back of them? Is there anybody upstairs in this garage? Hello?
Since I didn't get many responses in the garage during the day, I do a night session. The moment I entered the upstairs garage in the dark, it felt like the garage was crowded with people, but the feeling I had was very negative. At the time, I had no idea why I felt this way. I also felt a burning sensation all over my body. I just wanted to shut this down and leave the garage. After reviewing the recordings, I understood why I had such negative feelings.
Hello? Yeah, it is dark. I heard that. This is stupid. This is stupid. Alright. My HD camera, for some reason, is actually getting ready to die off. So I'm going to switch over to my cell phone cam, but I'm going to turn the light on so I don't fall down the steps, and also because I'm scared. I have chills that actually feel like a sunburn. I've never experienced that before, chills that feel like a sunburn. So it's pretty strange the way I feel right now. I mean, it could have something to do with psychologically or whatever, but alright. Hello? What did you say? All right, I'm getting out. I was going to continue to do the spirit box session, but I definitely heard a really creepy ass voice in there. There is something definitely not right in that garage. But there are things you do feel. Physical sensations. And you get these feelings all of a sudden that come out of nowhere, and you can't explain why you have these feelings. When I was up in that garage and felt that burning sensation, and I heard these strange voices in there, and I had the strange feelings on top of everything, that was frightening. I'm like, I'm done with this investigation. I'm shutting this down. I do not like what's going on up here. So, yeah, I shut it down. Got the hell out of there. I'm getting ready to do an all-out investigation in the house. And what these spirits say will eventually lead me back down into the basement. After I finished this investigation, the house became very active. It's like these spirits didn't want me to stop the investigation. I heard really strange voices and strange sounds. I turned the recorder back on to try to find out what these spirits were trying to say. During the first 18 months, multiple times spirits brought up the basement. And every time the basement comes up, spirits will say killed or killed in the basement over and over again. Hattie, do you know if Edmund killed people? Yes. It's been a few minutes since I shut the spirit box off and shut everything down, but I'm hearing a lot of movement in this house. I don't know what was up with that basement tonight. My God, they just... basement. Is there anything you want to say before I leave? I think I hear talking, but I don't know. I mean, it's faint. Try to talk really loud. Help you? Is that what you just said? I heard that. I gotta go. After I did that investigation, a few days later I went to the couch. I was sitting down to do a narration for that video. That was going to be the narration I was going to use from the investigation that night. I started hearing voices pretty loud, and I started hearing banging sounds coming from my bedroom. I think they know that I know that they're here, and they start communicating more often now that they know I understand that they're here in this house. And sometimes when I try to ignore them, they do some crazy things to try to get my attention. Some of them just want to talk, and some of them just want to cuss me out. I guess they don't have anybody to cuss out, so they want to cuss me out. But I just heard some talking. But hello? Hello? Somebody up here? Hello? Are you talking? What the hell is that noise? Son of a bitch! As far as apparition encounters, this by far was the most frightening encounter I ever faced. This was unexpected, and this apparition stood 2 to 3 feet away from me. This entity looked to be vibrating so fast. One split second it was close to me, then another split second it was far away, then up close again. It was solid, wearing clothing, but was surrounded by a dark gray mist, as if it was standing in the distance in thick fog. I could feel static electricity all over my skin,
and it felt like my body was being pushed back with a magnetic force. This was so frightening, it felt like my spirit quickly ran from my body before I could move. What lasted a couple of seconds felt like a minute. Some viewers pointed out what looked like a smaller second apparition next to the bed. I admit this does look strange, but I can't say this is in fact an apparition. I don't know.
What the hell is that noise? Son of a bitch! I see movement in the bedroom through that crack. Need to get out of here. Some people may have questions. Can these encounters kill you? Yes, they could. Because in all honesty, when I saw that apparition, I'm surprised my heart didn't stop. I'm surprised I didn't die of fright. And there have been claims. People have gone in haunted locations and they were found dead in the location. It was believed they saw something so frightening it killed them. From my experience, I can say, without a doubt, something can scare you so bad, your heart can stop. I was never, ever the same again after that encounter. I saw other apparitions, but this one was different. This one we were face to face. And what I felt and what I heard. Now, these EVPs were captured, but I also heard disembodied voices before I stepped into that room. And once again, what these spirits said was negative. It always seems this activity always goes back to Edmund. And it's always negative. And I can't help but wonder, what on earth did Edmund do for this many spirits to be angry at him? I mean, they are literally angry. And I also know from this encounter, not all of these spirits were human. I mean, what do they mean by they left me here? What do they mean by that? Something happened in this house, more than likely in the basement, that caused this type of activity, this negative type activity. A few days later, in my bedroom while working on a video, once again I started hearing loud disembodied voices. I pick up my camera and start investigating. I wasn't sure if somebody came back to the house and they were in this house talking, or if these were spirits. Miranda? Hello? I seriously get the creeps when stuff like this happens because that voice was so loud. There is no doubt in my mind somebody's in this house. Hello? I go to the basement. I start conducting investigations in the basement, searching for answers, trying to figure out what on earth caused this. At this point in time, I'm not even sure if they're talking about Edmund Lamb or was there another Edmund that these spirits are talking about. I need to find answers. When doing investigations in the basement, comments these spirits make are mostly negative. Some spirits are constantly telling me to get out. Edmund's name always comes up. The activity in the basement is unlike any other section of the house. You feel a strong presence, and you always have negative vibes. I decided to investigate this basement a little more than I normally would want to, due to the fact that for some reason this basement just keeps coming up over and over and over again. Can you hear me? Where's your body laid to rest at? Did you say in the basement? Is there anybody buried right here in this spot? Why is he buried here? Edmund, are you in here?
I don't know what to think about these spirits making claims Edmund is buried where this patch section is in the basement. Though through the centuries, there are really strange things that's happened on this planet. In the U.S. alone, there have been many cases human remains have been found in basements. And there are many cases people who were supposed to be buried in the cemetery, the graves were found to be empty. Is Edmund's grave empty at the local cemetery? Did he request to be buried in this basement when he died? Unless I can prove Edmund's grave is empty, and there are in fact human remains under this concrete patch, why these spirits say this will remain a mystery. I set up a trigger object on this concrete patch and conduct another investigation. The outcome of this investigation was surprising and unexpected.
Who's buried here in the basement? What's their name?
Once again, spirits want me to leave, and the name Abby comes up. During a follow-up investigation, again Abby's name comes up multiple times. What these spirits say was troubling.
Why are there so many spirits in this house?
During these investigations over the years, Abby's name comes up more than all other names combined. In 2017, Kaylee and I were finished doing a walkthrough of the house. We were sitting in the living room talking. We heard what sounded like a baby crying coming from the dining room. We rushed to the dining room. Over by the doorway leading to the second bedroom, we could hear the cry of a baby and multiple disembodied voices. I couldn't tell if this was coming from under the house or at the doorway leading into the bedroom. I grabbed my cell phone and hit record. What was captured was so disturbing, I never showed this recording in any videos until now.
Hello? Hello?
I'm pretty sure I know what this was about. What was captured was another piece of the puzzle that will fit with other puzzle pieces as time goes by. Also during investigation, spirits bring up other children.
Hello? Patty Lamb, are you in here tonight? Patty, are you here?
Back to the trigger object on the basement floor. What these spirits say will connect the dots into what takes place 3 years after this investigation. I believe some of these spirits are angry over information I received, and other spirits know the dangers of what will take place at a later date, and they want me to leave.
What? What's going to happen if I don't get out? I heard that. Get out. Something's very serious about not wanting me down here. So anyway, I'm going to shut it down for the night because it's getting late. And
I closed the investigation down for the night. While I'm packing up some of the equipment, I hear a really strange sound coming from the concrete floor. My cell phone was filled. I couldn't record. However, the digital camera is still sitting on the floor recording right next to where the strange sound was coming from. What I didn't know at the time, this strange sound was a spirit talking. Unfortunately, the heater kicks on, but enough was captured to explain what this strange sound was. Hello? What the hell is that noise? After leaving the basement, I take the equipment upstairs. When I come back downstairs, once again I hear the same strange sound I heard in the basement. I quickly turn off the heater, grab the digital camera. While sitting on the couch recording, the same voice coming from the basement is now in the living room. You gonna make any more noise?
After going over what these spirits said during the basement investigation, I had to go back to the basement again. I had to do some follow-up questions. I wanted to confront Edmund. I wanted to ask Edmund, what did you do?
Edmund, what did you do? What'd you do, Edmund? What happened down here?
Edmund. Edmund, what'd you do?
What these spirits say next could not be used in this video due to the content. However, after I heard the recording, I came back to the basement. You tapping? Hello? Whoa! What the hell? Hello? I was watching the shadow movement right here, wondering where this was coming from. Then suddenly a face comes at me from within the darkness. I brightened this up as much as possible to show what came out from under the house. I can assure you, this screenshot is nothing compared to what this looked like in real time. As I jumped back, this thing went back through the hole under the house. This wasn't the only incident within those few seconds. What was said is just as disturbing as this encounter. Hello? Whoa! What the hell? After the first 18 months of doing these investigations, I was literally astonished at this activity. I did not realize just how strong this activity was becoming during that time. But when I look back at it, the temperatures were definitely rising. There are going to be things that will happen that completely go beyond my control. This activity will eventually become so dark that it's almost unbearable to face what these spirits say. We have 5 more chapters to go in Ghost Chronicles, and when we get to the end, the final chapter, all the pieces of the puzzle will fit in place, and I believe everybody will clearly see what happened in this house and why the activity is the way it is. Since the very beginning, what have these spirits been trying to tell us?
Did you say it comes from Egypt?
We know something very dark took place in this basement. These spirits want us to know what happened.
I'm going to come down here looking for Rachel.
No doubt something very troubling happened to Abby, and this may hold the keys to some of this paranormal activity. Between 2017 and 2021, entities wanted something.
You guys said you want my blood, or you want blood for the portal?
We know something very evil wants this blood and has come out from hiding. The bear is fully awake.
I know what you are. Seriously? Does this mean you're not going to answer my...
Since the very beginning, spirits have warned us to get out, leave.
Did somebody do something in this basement or in this house? What? House? What?
But why do these spirits want us to leave?
Leave? Whoa, what the
What was captured in 2021 was captured in the very beginning. After 4.5 years of encountering this very powerful paranormal activity, and by listening to what these spirits told us, using historical facts, all the pieces of the puzzle will fit together, and everything will make sense.